remember when I was younger. I was either 5 or 6, I was either in kindergarten or first grade, and we had the option of a musical. Musical. I didn't like music class. I didn't have a reason to join, until my mother realized a very important component. How could her child prodigy become a child prodigy without music and theater? So she killed 2 birds with 1 stone, and I decided to join it. Kindergartner / first grade me was furious at her. And nowadays, I'm grateful. All the lines I had to remember, the dances I had to recall, everything about it was so amazing. It was so exciting, so exhilarating, bringing happy memories to my life, and I will never forget that feeling. But that was just the start of something new, a long-term dream. And many other people agree with me. Numerous people that I've been backstage with, that I've laughed with while we waited for our cue to come on, or did overcomplicated handshakes while we waited for our time to jump in. If you've ever done any type of theater at all, something that wasn't mandatory, so no drama classes, maybe you were in a small production, a big production, please just raise your hand. I can see some theater kids in here. Let me ask you all something. What is it like to be in a cast? Well, don't worry, because I'm going to tell you. It's an incredible experience. If you haven't broken into some song from a famous musical with all your backstage buddies, you're missing out. Being in a cast feels like you're being appreciated and seen by everyone. You get to bond and meet with people that you've never met before. And I'm not the only one who thinks this. Academic.oup.com, weird URL, I know, expresses that people that have been a part of casts ended up with a lot more positive impacts from it. People that have been a part of theater have been shown to develop more empathy, social connections and skills, more positive emotions overall, a sense of community and belonging in said community. You don't just perform, you become a part of a cast. Because of theater, I felt the ability to open up more, to be more expressive. And ever since COVID, I've struggled to socialize with people because I'd always be home. You would be surprised how quickly Romanian classes can get sick. But when I had the option to join a play after COVID, I had never been happier. No matter how silly or crazy the play we've performed has been, I've always had a lot of fun doing it. And it's becoming a whole new character, becoming a whole new person. When you're on stage, you can't be yourself. You need to become the character that you are performing, the character that is written on paper, the character that you created in your head. Trust me, it's what I'm doing right now. You have to become the character they've written on paper, and it can take a lot of work. How do they act? What period do they live in? How do they look like? Are they rich, middle class, poor? What are some of their family relations? What are their motives? What are their story? You need to establish everything and anything, because that fleshes out the character more. And it doesn't always have to be said through words. It can just be said through actions. I mean, look at The Woodsman. The Woodsman is a play purely done without any speaking, just soundscape and actions. And we know everything there is to know about the main character. We know his motives, his family, the love of his life. The actor still shows us who this character is without telling us directly. Now, I've been talking a lot about performing and being on stage, but I've been ignoring the elephant in the room. What about us who are anxious about being social? Well, don't worry, because theater is perfect for battling your social anxiety. You see, theater forces you to leave your comfort space. It's not one of those things where last minute you can say, I don't want in. You have a bunch of people waiting for you. If you choose to be a part of a cast or ensemble, you have to take it until the very end. And for people who have trouble speaking to a public audience, or people who are afraid of being in social situations, this can be a really stressful thing to do. I can still remember the intense fear I have every single time I have to pay for anything. It's a really strange phenomenon, actually. I can be really expressive with a group of friends, but if you ask me to call over a waitress or pay at the cashier, I start panicking and stumbling over my words. Theater is helping me overcome that fear. After you have to say some pretty crazy lines, especially ones that people nowadays would label as cringe, you start to forget how to be nervous. I still get nervous at the cashier, don't get me wrong, but I'm much more confident. I already know what I'm going to say, and I smile and nod like I know what's going to happen. I've been using the word expressive a lot here, but what does it mean really? Well, expressive in this case would be the Oxford Languages definition. Being expressive means the ability to show your thoughts and feelings, to express yourself. I had trouble expressing myself as a kid, and I still do now. I don't know how to show I'm upset in a way that isn't staring with furrowed brows or ignoring someone. But after being on stage so many times and having to display so many emotions, it doesn't feel like that much of a struggle anymore. If I'm upset about something, I talk with my hands, or I explain how this and that made me feel bad. Speaking of children, let's talk about that for a hot second. Why do we want to stop performing as we age? Well, it's quite easy to explain actually. As children, we don't quite comprehend the idea of humiliation and embarrassment. A reputation is not something we understand, and if we do understand it, we normally don't really view it as important. As time passes, things as popularity start to become really important to us. We want to be able to be viewed as good in the eyes of others. We all have those moments when we really, really want to do something that we enjoy, but we're scared we're going to mess it up somehow and be viewed in a negative light. Or we're just afraid of the audience we're facing. After all, the leading cause of social anxiety is just a bunch of negative situations that add up and make the individual in perspective be afraid to interact with others. So, what do I want you to take from this speech? I want you to understand that you should try theater for yourself. Even if you're afraid to be on stage, no one is going to make fun of you. If anything, they'll be impressed. And if you're still nervous about performing in front of a big audience, you can start small. Maybe being an extra school production with a smaller audience, and then as you start to be more comfortable, try auditioning for bigger roles. As for those who do try out and always get ensemble, don't be upset. No one is going to get the big role for the first time. And sometimes the character just might not be for you. Remember how I said that, you have to embody a character? Well, some people act, sing, dance, whatever they need to do better in that production when it's a character that fits them. And trust me, there will always be a lead that matches you. You just have to keep trying until you find the right one. Little tip of advice for parents, because I know you're here. Don't push away your children when they want to show you something they created in a group. Encourage it. That builds confidence and good self-esteem. Go searching for opportunities around you for your children and maybe even for yourself. In Romania alone, there are 499 stages for theater. Many of those are actively looking for actors. And this isn't even talking about the film industry. There are a lot of casting agencies all around the world which are free and send offers to people of all ages, genders, races, for different acting opportunities with different themes. It's little choices like clicking a button that says, join this play, or, looking for casting agencies that can impact your confidence, your mental state, and your life. Thank you.